If you have questions during the webinar, please type the questions in the questions box of GoToMeeting panel so that we can answer them at the end. Okay, so a few words about the presenter. The presenter of this webinar is Attila Szabó. He's an application scientist at ChemAxon. He received his master's degree from Cheminformatics at the Eötvös Loránd Science University, Budapest, Hungary in 2011. And then right after that, he joined ChemAxon and spent half a year as a consultant in the UK at the JSK site to support them in the migration from ISIS-based to IGC. So he kind of, from the beginning, at the beginning, he gained some industrial experience. So without further ado, I'd like to ask Attila to continue with his presentation.
So, hi everyone. As Christian mentions, today's webinar is about JChem for Office, chemistry extension suite for Microsoft Office. It is a new project of ChemAxon, which extends our long-standing Excel add-in, JChem for Excel. Office products are commonplace on computers and make people's life easier by giving an interface for creating documents, spreadsheets, presentations, and so on. But to fully facilitate them in a chemistry research environment, they need some help. And this is why we introduced our chemical intelligence into Office products to allow structured drawing, handling, and calculations in Office. I will do a live demo on our solution. In the first part, I will focus on JChem for Excel and its news. I would like to highlight some of the news of the past year, like many user experience improvements, new compound ID handling features, and one-click SAR table generation. And then in the second part, I'd like to introduce JChem for Office, basically the extension to Word and PowerPoint and Outlook of our chemical intelligence. And in the end, you will have a chance to ask questions, and we will answer them according to our best. All right, now let's move to Excel. JChem for Excel comes with a specific ribbon where you can access most important capabilities. Now let me show how to get structures onto Excel spreadsheets in first hand. I will import a chemical structure file using this import button and select file, structures to import, MRV. It can read MRV, SD file, SMILES, and name format, as well as it's possible to extract chemical names and embedded structures from other Office documents. I will import everything into this sheet, but you are able to select other sheets as well and a specific position to append to an existing data or overwrite existing data. Now let's move to the next step of the import wizard, where you are able to specify which fields of your structure files you want to import. And let's say you don't want to import some specific column, then you make them untick. And if you import files which have always the same columns, then to make your life easier, you are able to save the selection of the fields. So let me save this selection. And then I will reuse it later. Another important thing is that you can configure the properties of these columns, and you can choose a field which is the compound ID. To do so, I selected the ID column and made through the user's identifier. Soon I will show you how does it help your life. Okay, and we set up the columns and just import them. And here we are, we get our structures and the the field we wanted to import as well. And once a structure is in the sheet, then you can edit it with double click and Marvin shows up and can make easily changes on it. Okay, so I selected the ID field, and you can see here is the view section, and there's an IDs button. And if I click it, then it turns every structure into its corresponding ID. And with the structures button, you can convert it back. So it can help you when you want to see just the data and don't need to see the actual structures, but you want to keep the information. Many times you people just work with the compound IDs and not moving around chemical structures. For them, it's probably helpful. The following feature will be probably helpful. So I enter several IDs here, and then click Import by IDs. Select again a structure file. Tell JChem for Excel which is the ID column and which is the ID column in the Excel sheet as well. Here I can reuse the load save fields. The SDF selection. It's a pretty simple case, but many times SD files contains many fields, and in that case it can be really helpful. And just click import. So our structures became, so our IDs became structure, except this one because there is no such ID. Never mind. The point is that you can import by ID. Probably many of you already seen IGC or heard about. It is our chemical database management tool, and it's a common case that you are defining your queries in IGC and seeing the search results there as well, but want to analyze it in JChem for Excel. And one solution to bring the data into Excel is to export structures into an Excel file which is already readable by JChem for Excel, and you get live chemical structures on your sheet. Another way is to just select structure and data, right-click in IGC, and select Copy to Microsoft Office. And now if I go back to JChem for Excel and click this paste IJC table button, then everything goes to Excel with basically 2 clicks. Okay, so now we've seen numerous ways to get structures into Excel. Now let's see what can we do with these structures. Excel is renowned by its robust function system, and JChem for Excel extends it, which means that you are able to define functions and accessing our cheminformatics functionality, like to calculate the plugins, calculating physical chemical properties, or calculate topological properties of structures, and so on. Recently we made an improvement here. Now these functions are grouped, which helps a lot navigating and finding what you actually need. So let's say you want log P, then you go to the JChem protonation partitioning group, and then select JC log P, which is for calculating the log P value. Another improvement here is that we included hints and help for the functions, as well as the help for the functions is accessible by 1 click. Okay. Now I need to select the molecule. This is my molecule. Okay. And here is our log P value, which is automatically updated whenever something changes here, which is a well-known Office or Excel behavior. Another well-known feature of Excel is the filtering. We also added a chemically intelligent filtering. You can find it in the chemistry group. Here's a filter button, and let's say we want to filter these structures. Then you can use again Marvin sketch. I will do a simple substructure filtering based on a benzene ring. This part been also refurbished recently. We made this option settings simplified, so we hope that you will find what you want to set more easily. Okay, so you can see that it filtered for the benzene and highlighted where benzene being found. Unfortunately, the upper one hasn't been filtered properly because there is no header. So let me show that it works properly. Yeah. Okay, so you can see it filters out correctly. Just expect the first row to be a header. Now let's move to another important chemistry feature of ours. It's common during drug research processes to do an SAR analysis, which involves R group decomposition of compound libraries. So let's say we have this compound library here, and we want to prepare an R group an SAR analysis. First point is to do an R group decomposition. To do so, we'll define a scaffold. Okay, here we go. Here's our scaffold, and it contains two R atoms, R1 and R2, and our R group decomposition will be based on this structure. Down here, you can again define a specific location for the output. I will keep the default here to create a new sheet. As well, there are many fine-tuning options of the R group decomposition. I will go ahead with the default ones. So this is what you get after an R group decomposition. One column with the scaffold, and it highlights the different R groups, and two columns for the R groups. However, it's not easy to oversee or see through the connections, and to build an SAR table manually requires quite a big effort. And that is why we added a new functionality to the R group decomposition, which is generate SAR table only. And with this option, you are able to generate the SAR table without doing any manual work and transposing the columns of the R group decomposition. So let's see what we got. We have R1 and R2 either in a column or row, and the corresponding activity, or in this case it is this is a constant of the equilibrium, and right away this area is selected and can be enriched with conditional formatting, for instance. So with a few clicks you are able to prepare an SAR table or R matrix. Okay, now I showed almost everything from this ribbon. However, it is not everything what JChem for Excel can do, because this ribbon currently is a so-called standard ribbon, but we have an advanced as well, which contains much more functionality, and it's designed for more expert usage. Just save my work on my desktop, and it is not a common thing to change the ribbon, so you need to restart in this case. And you can see there are much more buttons, like you have a database and connection possibilities, like importing from database in a different way, or more data conversion options, converting structures to SMICE or convert them from SMICE. So let's say here's a SMICE string, convert it from SMICE. Oh, and here we are. And you're able to convert a structure to an image. You can see this is an image. And if you converted a JChem structure to an image, then you are able to convert it back to a structure, so you can edit it again. It can help you when you want to send analysis done with JChem for Excel to a colleague or partner who doesn't have it installed. Another very useful function here is from any text, which means that you enter basically any type of text, meaning IUPAC name, traditional chemical name, SMICE, inch codes, or even case number. This button will try to parse it and convert it to a structure. A few more words about the database. So, as during the file import I mentioned that compound ID might be very important, or you're working a lot with some of them and doing analysis and referencing the structure based on the compound ID. That's why we added an associate ID button here. If you have a compound database and you are looking for compound ID at, for instance, 376, and want to see the structure, just click the associate IDs, and JChem for Excel will retrieve that structure and show it on your spreadsheet. Of course, I set this on my computer. Alright, now let's take our previous result of SCR table analysis. So I need this file. And I'm going to copy it to Word and PowerPoint. You might spot it, this button here. It carries out a special copying, and it is able to copy every bit of this table into a PowerPoint slide, for instance, but Word as well. And this takes us to our second part, which is JChem for Office. You can see that it's possible to easily resize it, and the scale of the structures will be kept by JChem for Office. So we brought the most basic structure drawing and handling functionality to PowerPoint, Word, and Outlook, which mainly supporting reporting. Because our idea is that JChem for Excel is to do your analysis with your data, but Word, PowerPoint is to do reporting. So the buttons are mainly doing structure importing into a document or PowerPoint slide and doing some basic calculations. Along with developing JChem for Office, we introduced another importing tool which I haven't showed you before. It is called import from IJC. To use this, you need a running IJC on your desktop or your colleague's desktop, and start the so-called personal server manager. And let's say you are doing a query for an aniline structure. We got 104 hits, and you want to use it in a report. Then just go to From IJC button, select a URL. You can enter one of your colleagues' computer's address or just yours. You might work only on your computer. Select the IJC data tree you worked with, and let's say we just want to import just the first 10 structures, as well as we want some of the fields in IJC, let's say xlogp, CDID, and the IUPAC name. Here you can cherry pick more of the structures coming from IJC. Let's say you are interested in these ones, and once you selected them, just click import, and they are going to be put into a Word table with the selected fields. This generates images of the structures, but from now you are able to edit them with Marvin with just a few clicks. No need for dealing with all the objects. It's just an image, and JChem for Office is able to edit this and update it nicely. This means that these are images, and it can be sent to anyone, even those who doesn't have JChem for Office, but only those can edit who has. Let's add just structure here. Let's say I add aspirin, and if you want to add some of the properties of this structure, then click properties, and with this tool you are able to add tables containing the properties of the selected structure, and easily enrich your reports with calculated properties. So I showed PowerPoint, Word, but I mentioned also Outlook. Let me just show it quickly how it looks like. It's basically the same. You get a JChem ribbon here and can use the same structure adding and managing things like in PowerPoint and Word. And let's say just add structure. And from now you can easily send structures and emails to your colleagues. Okay, I think that was all about the features of Office. Now just let me talk about a bit the connections of JChem for Excel. Where else can you use it? And where can you reuse the results of JChem for Excel analysis? I already showed you that it has connection with IJC. You can copy and paste structure with data into Excel. You can export. And there are many ways to get out data from IJC to JChem for Excel. There are 9 nodes to read and write JChem for Excel workbooks, as well as Pipeline Pilot is supported. And JChem for SharePoint also can import and export JChem for Excel workbooks. And JChem for SharePoint Search can find chemical structures in JChem for Excel workbooks. To support people who used other Excel chemistry add-in, we developed some converter tools. So you are able to convert ChemDraw and ISIS for Excel workbooks with our converter tool. These converts the structures into our format. And if you fancy other sketcher or chemical drawers than ours, then ChemDraw and Excel drawers are also supported within JChem for Excel. And thank you very much for your attention. If you have any questions, then please type it in the right pane, GoToMeeting pane, and
All right, thank you very much, Attila, for this presentation. I think it was very nice to learn and hear about all these new developments. The webinar is open to questions now, so if you haven't, then please type your questions in the question box so that we can answer. There is already a question there. Can you structure and name search in your Outlook email inbox?
You can, but only when you are importing structures. So let's say you are importing from IJC or a file, then you are able to filter by structure search. But for structures which are already in place, currently there is no option to search them.
Okay, there is another question. Does it support Mac and Windows Office?
Currently only Windows version of Office is supported.
And there is another one. What do 3 I groups look like in the I group decomposition?
It is a good question. You can do a group decomposition with arbitrary number of R groups. However, the Sar analysis is limited to 2 R groups. So you won't be allowed to run the Sar table generation if you draw more than 2 R groups on your scaffold query.
At this moment, no other questions, but we're gonna wait a little bit. Maybe there is someone who's typing it. Until then, there's gonna be another one. I'd like to point out again that we have 2 more webinars in this series coming. 1 week from now, there will be a demonstration of a Plexus library design tool, and 2 weeks from now, there will be a webinar about document to database. Same time, 4 p.m. Central European time. No more questions at this time. If you have any questions later on, please look for us. You can submit your questions to the application scientist website, support at chemaxon.com email address. Okay, so I think we're gonna, there is another one. Maybe this is the last question we have. Do you also support Accord for Excel conversion to JChem for Excel? So
Currently we don't support the Accord for Excel conversion, but we are working on it, so hopefully soon we will be able to release the Accord for Excel variable conversion. My colleague just told me that the current plan for this is next summer.
okay, so I believe this was our, there is another one. Okay, nice. Can you connect to other databases than IGC, for instance, Oracle?
Mm-hmm. Yes and no, because yes, you can do in Excel. You can connect to Oracle, MySQL, and SQL Server of Microsoft. But of course, it works only with a JChem database, and currently it's not available in other Office applications, only Excel.
Okay, so if you have no other questions, then thank you very much again for attending, and hope to see you back next week. Thanks a lot, and have a good day. Bye-bye.